Good Monday morning, friends. Welcome to another edition of When Worlds Collide. That's what I like to call my program from now on because I think we are having a collision of worldviews in our society, one that's based entirely on a secular model and one that is more culturally conservative or a biblical model, as I like to think. And I like to try to, weigh some of these issues and hopefully come up with some things that'll make you guys think. And for my own personal life and my own personal observations. Um, I heard a sermon yesterday, and I'm beginning to judge sermons in a way that's maybe differently than I have in the past. A lot of times when I hear a sermon, I'll be thinking about ways that I would phrase it, or I would maybe do it in my own way. And as I'm listening to one, I may come up with some theological terms that I like, or some concepts on how to make a difference. So I'm kind of reviewing the sermon academically. But there is times now and again where sermons create vivid memories in my mind. They may take me back to something very personal, and it might resonate in a way that's profound or even moving. And I think when a sermon does that, it would clearly be, to most people, a superior sermon because it hits you, it tugs at your heartstrings. And sermon yesterday had that effect, and I'd like to share some things. I got a father who's about 6'4.5", and I remember growing up. A lot of times we'd go places, or we'd be in a car, and then we'd stop and we'd go walking as a family. And this doesn't have to happen to my dad; it happens to me as well. A lot of times when fathers are walking with their families, they walk ahead because they're used to walking much faster than the rest of their family. And this was particularly true of my dad, who was tall, had long legs. He also worked in New York during the week before coming home on the weekend, so he had that New Yorker's gait. So he had everything going for him. New York, tall, long legs, and all of us would be way behind. And this would be something that my sister would mention, my little sister. She'd always be saying, "Daddy, don't you walk so fast." And of course, this would be happening, and it coincided with a very popular song of that time period when we were doing a lot of these things. And it was, I believe, by Wayne Newton, and it was called "Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast." Now, I'm not pretending I'm going to audition for American Idol. This will be a karaoke version, something you have to do when you're really drunk, I guess. But see if you guys remember this song. Just sing the chorus. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. Daddy, slow down some, 'cause you're making me run. Daddy, don't you walk so fast. There you go. And that's your little entertainment for the day. Well, anyway, moving on from that. This particular event in our lives, in our family's life, resonated with my sister. And it meant that my dad, who wanted to do things his own way, which was walk at his own speed, the fact that he wasn't, paying particular attention to others, it mattered in a way. My sister would say, "Hey, Dad, slow down." So his actions made a difference in the communal aspect with our family. And this is something that resonates with my sister. I'm sure if I bring this up to her today, she'll remember these moments. It's not going to make her go off to a hospital for psychiatric disorders because my father walked too fast. But, in life, a lot of events such as this could have a profound effect on other people, often to their detriment. I can recall a situation in my own life, during, the family viewing hour back in I guess it was in the 70s, it had to be, where, people got together around the TV because there wasn't as many options as far as watching television programs. There was certain shows that are popular, and families often gathered around to watch them. And I can recall watching The Love Boat. Not The Love Boat, I'm sorry. The Sonny and Cher show. And I remember, watching that show, and I really enjoyed it. I love the banter between Sonny and Cher, the little digging at one another, particularly Cher digging at Sonny. And you could tell they seemed really happy. And not only were they happy, we knew, people knew, even I as a kid knew, they were really married. So they weren't pretending to be married on the show, they actually were. And this to me was great. This married couple was having a great time on TV and entertaining us. We got to hear music, little skits. It was all fun. In fact, my sister and I used to do these little skits for relatives when they came over, and we used to do this thing with an old-fashioned microphone such as this one. And my sister would put on this long wig she had, and we would entertain our relatives with the rendition of "I Got You, Babe." Trust me, I'm not going to put you through that torture. Particularly if I had to do it on my own. That would be horrible. But you get the point. Now what happened here was when these two decided to get divorced, this was to me like, no, this can't happen. This is devastating. I can't. I don't want Sonny and Cher to get divorced. I want them to be happy. They come into my life. They're part of my life. Now they're disrupting it in some way, even if I only see them for an hour once a week. I didn't like it. It really. I remember really at a lot of times being saddened by this breakup, and it was because um, they were part of my life in some way, and their marriage had an impact on the greater whole, society as a whole. They were in some ways role models for marriage, whether they liked that or not. They were. Of course, I'm sure people who they may knew, people who knew them or were in their lives would say, "Hey, Sonny, Cher, can't you guys work this thing out? We don't want you to break up." And you knew later in life, after Sonny had died, when Cher gave a eulogy, she had great memories of Sonny, and you knew she loved him in so many ways. But they decided, for whatever reason, they weren't going to get married. And ultimately, I would suspect the reason would be when people asked them why not, they would just say, like the old Billy Joel song, um, I don't care what you say. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone. People don't want to be told what to do because there's a certain degree of independence people have. They don't think what they do, unless they're killing somebody or doing something horrible, really should matter to others because our decisions basically are independent. Um, but this is because other people don't really matter to people. Um, and the funny thing is, on a sense, if you say to people, the great scriptures of the Bible where it says, love one another, bear one another's burdens, admonish one another, all of these things about the Bible verses that tells us about being in community, how we should be doing these things, people will say, amen. But we really can't really believe those things and be proactive in them unless we really think, do others matter in our life? And I just gave these two examples to show you that, some things in life really did matter to me. I know if, somebody I'm looking forward to seeing one day, for whatever reason, cancels, it's a disappointment. I couldn't make it. I mean, there could be a legitimate reason why they couldn't, but their decision may have really mattered. What if I really needed to share some stuff with them? I was sad and they were going to lift my spirits and they didn't come. So they're not coming makes a difference. And if they're not coming is legitimate, that's fine. But if they're not coming is because of reasons, well, I don't feel like it. They just showed that, I didn't really matter to them. And this goes on a lot of things. Being late for things, um, um, deciding we're more important than other people for whatever reason, is all an indication that others don't really matter to us. And they do. And I know they do because I can recall various instances in my life where somebody let me down, and it really hurt. The last thing I can remember was I remember these kids. This was I don't know, so many years ago, who kind of took me under their wing because of something. And then I went to their house and I was kind of befriending them for a while. Well, they were befriending me, and they were older kids, and I thought this was the greatest thing. I was like in third grade, and they were in sixth grade. But at one point, for whatever reason, they just grew tired of me, and I was in one of the friends' house, and they decided to go out with their friends or leave, and I was left, in the basement doing some stuff, and all of a sudden I noticed, where'd they go? Where'd they go? And then after a while, I came upstairs, and the father was in the kitchen or something. I remember this, not total details, but I do remember. I said, where did they go? Oh, they gone. The father didn't even know I was downstairs. They just left me. I had been friends with these guys for a week. I thought they were the greatest. And then they just decided to leave. Like I wasn't important anymore. I can remember going home. I was devastated by this. I was crying for days, and I just hated these kids because they decided I didn't matter. Um, Anyways, those are my thoughts for the day. Hopefully they resonate with you guys. Until next time, so long.